This is Sandra, who I have the privilege of working with most every day of the week. I want to say hi to Sandra. Yeah. Let me hold that.
Might need you to eventually. As most of you know, and probably some of you who do not, my name is Sandra Larson. My family has been attending First Baptist Church of Junction City regularly. Gotta remember to breathe. Since June of 2007. I married my husband Brad 21 years ago, almost 12 years after we met and became friends. We have 3 children. Amanda is a freshman in college this year. Joseph is an 8th grader, and David is a 6th grader. I was raised in a loving home by parents who were both raised going to church. I'm filled with positive memories of my childhood that I will always cherish. I grew up being taught many great qualities, such as the importance of family. We always ate dinner together, no matter how late it was. My dad was a helicopter pilot, and he would fly over the house on the way to the airport at the end of busy days. We had dinner that had been prepared and was in a holding pattern about 20 minutes later. Kindness. My parents were both very giving of their time and volunteered for everything involving our activities. I don't have many memories of hanging out at homes of my friends. They were always at my house sharing my parents. Selflessness. My mom was an amazing model of putting others before herself. She was always the driving force behind our family and made sure that if something needed to be done, it was done. She could find a way to fix anything. I can't was not in her vocabulary. I never realized when I was a child how little money my mom managed our home with. Compassion. My dad made rescuing injured loggers a priority in his job. It was never in his job description, but he never got in trouble for dropping off executives to save someone's life. I remember him rescuing a duck that had been shot by a neighbor boy. He made a pen for it, found it a mate, and we nursed it back to health. They flew away together when his recovery was complete, and they returned to our home for several years to visit with their ducklings. I felt like I had a great life and was raised to make good choices. I feared disappointing my father and managed to avoid taking wrong turns in my life for the most part. I was not perfect by any means, but found my way back to the right path without any devastating consequences. When my dad was tragically killed in a horrific helicopter crash trying to save a stranger's life, I spent the next few years seeking answers to questions I never realized I had. I was angry, frustrated, felt lost, and had no idea what my purpose was. At first, this seemed like a fruitless endeavor. I made choices I wouldn't have made when my dad was alive because he wasn't there to disappoint. My mom silently supported me with her unconditional love and drew me closer in his absence. She eventually, in her own quiet manner, guided me back to the right path. It was when I started to seek God by His will and not my own that my life started to truly fall into place in a way that made sense. Brad took on a new role in my life, and we started an amazing journey together. I have come to understand that God placed Brad in my life to guide me in a way that is pleasing to God, my Father. It has not been until recently that I fully understand that my path has been laid out for me and my blessings have been gifted to me at just the right times. My anger has been replaced with joyfulness and my frustration with gratefulness. As for feeling lost, that's a little more complicated. Feeling lost has been described as not having the knowledge to get you to your destination. With the help of my amazing husband, through the guidance of God the Father, I've learned to know God's Word and keep God's commands. These are the ways in which I have learned to find my destination. So with this in mind, I am bucking up, conquering my fear, maybe not so well, and sharing my story that I may be a witness for Jesus Christ. I want to publicly declare my faith to my church family, in my church home, and set an example to my children and the children I teach.